Hey everybody, Mary here, and sure enough, we're at another campground, so we wanted to do a video to let you know all about it. So for the next couple of weeks, we are going to be staying at Naval Air Station Pensacola, and that's in Pensacola, Florida, in the Panhandle, in case you might not know that. And I'll tell you, there are actually two campgrounds. Actually, technically, I suppose three. But anyway, associated with NAS Pensacola. One of them is Oak Grove, which is the one that we're staying at right now. And this is actually on the base proper. So it is on the Naval Air Station. The other two are at Blue Angel, and that is off base. And there are two sections to the Blue Angel campground. One of them is full hookup, and the other one is water and electric only. So we're going to take a look today at Oak Grove and just give you kind of a rundown of what it's like here. And I have to tell you, we've actually stayed here before. We came here last year when we used to had our smaller motor home. We kind of came down here on a whim. We just called, they had reservations. We left the snow in Indiana and we drove down here until we got to some warmth. So we decided, we loved the place, thought it was just gorgeous. And so it was definitely on our list for returning this year. So let's start with taking a look around the campground itself and the sites, and then I'll show you a few of the amenities that you'll want to know about. So just before we take a little look around the campground and talk about it in more detail, I wanted to tell you about how to get here. So a couple of things that you want to know. There are two gates to NAS Pensacola. There's the main gate, and then there is what they refer to as the West Gate. And the West Gate is open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. And I'll tell you, it is the easiest way to get in and out of this base. You can come in the main gate. You are going to have to maneuver through, right, those barriers and barricades that are in place, but you can do it. But it's just a very, very busy gate. And oftentimes the traffic will get backed up at that gate. So I encourage you to follow the truck route. Okay. So it's going to take you like you're going towards the main base or the main gate, but then you're going to follow the brown historic or whatever directional signs that take you to, it'll say Pensacola Lighthouse. It'll say the National Naval Aviation Museum. It will also say nope, that's not correct. It'll say Barrancas National Cemetery. So you're going to follow that because it's also the truck route. So it takes you it might take you maybe 4 or 5 minutes longer, but trust me, it's the best way to go. So you're going to take that and it will bring you in that West Gate. Super straight direction coming in, super easy. The other thing that's really good about that is that the campground itself is actually really close to that West Gate. So when you come in the West Gate, you are just going to go straight and you're going to see the big Blue Angels hangar on your up ahead of you on your left. As you're seeing yourself approach that hangar, you're going to want to start looking to the right. The campground is a little secluded behind some trees, so you may not see the campers, but there is a sign, small wooden brown sign that says turn right here for the fam camp. But if you're slowing down as you approach that hangar that's on the other side of the road, you'll see that turn in to your right. Basically, there's a road that goes up to the hangar to your left, and there's a turn to your right for the fam camp, and that's going to take you right here. The office, as soon as you get inside, you're going to come in that. The office is going to be directly on your right-hand side, so you'll stop there to check in. There's always a camp host here. Our current camp host is Bob. Bob's amazing. He will usually come right out, meet you, and help you find your spot, and even help you get set up if you need that assistance. So first we're going to talk about the sites themselves. You can see that there are trees here, which is really nice, gives you some shade. And in Florida, that can be really beneficial. All right, but don't be afraid of the trees. We were able to maneuver through this campground. It is very well laid out, so it's easy to get in and out of these sites. So we were able to do that without any issues. They do a really good job of keeping the limbs trimmed up above that 14 feet level so that the bigger RVs don't have any challenges coming in. But the sites are pretty long. You can see here we have plenty of room for ours at 41 feet. They are all paved, and it's a big, huge pave area, so it includes not only the spot for your RV, but some patio area as well. And these are full hookup, so we have water, we have sewage, we have electric, and you also have cable at this particular campground. Now I'm just going to do a quick panorama so you can kind of see the area itself. So just beyond that tree line right there in front of you is actually the beach and the Gulf. And we'll get to that in a minute. But you can see these campsites along here that I'm showing you now, these are actually pull-through sites. And there's probably about maybe 8 or 10 of these that are pull-through. The rest of them are back-in sites. And I'm going to show you these. So all of these on the perimeter are back-in sites. Some have more trees than others. Some have less, which, you know, really is kind of your own particular liking. I will tell you, you can make reservations at this campground, but you cannot select your site, or at least I don't believe you can. They always just assign it to us when we get here by knowing how long our RV is. Now this side, I call this our side of the campground. This side of the RV campground looks a lot like this. It's a little more curved and rounded in this area. The other side of the campground is more of those linear lines and rows of camping, but still with trees and a lot of amenities. So let's see what else the campground has. Now this building is sort of the common room, right? The meeting room, if you will. And in the evenings, starting at 4 p.m., there'll be a light in one of those windows that says happy hour. And a lot of the campers just get together. We bring our own beverages of our choice, some little snacks, and we all sit in here and have a great time, getting to know each other and just building a community while we camp. And this is inside that community building, and there's a lot of amenities here for you to take advantage of. As you can see, long tables sat out here, and this is what we call the meeting of the minds when we get together for happy hour. Over on the far wall, you can see that there's a microwaves, there's blenders, there's music, all kinds of things just for fun. Over here behind me, they also have a book exchange. So if you have books you've already read, you don't want to carry them with you, you put them in here. And if you're looking for a new book, you might find it there as well. Also here, they have a computer. So if you do need to use a computer, you don't have one of your own, you can certainly use theirs. And this little area is what they refer to as the free area. If you have something in your RV that you're no longer using, but you think it might be a benefit to somebody else, you can bring it in here, put it on this table, and people will take it if it's something they can use. And we've actually used this from a receiving end, gotten a few things off of this. We've also put things there that we thought others might benefit from. Another nice benefit at this campground is in this area, the Panorama Bread Company makes donations to the USO on base. So at the end of the day, if they have any leftover bread, bagels, things of that nature, they'll take it to the USO. Well, if it's more than the USO can actually use, the USO pays it forward to the campground and they bring it out here. They lay it out here and then people just come with their own bags and they collect any bread that they want and take them back to their RVs. And then when the bread has been here a day or two, then the campground will get rid of it. But it's a really nice benefit and it's a great way that everybody's just sort of paying it forward. So now we're going to go take a look at the restrooms, the showers, and the laundry. So there is one building at the campground that supplies this. And on the far right-hand side in front of you is the laundry area. Then we have the men's and the women's down there on the left, and we'll go take a look. So here is the laundry area, and as you can see, it's a big area. We have 6 washers, 6 dryers, and we have plenty of area for folding. We also have baskets to transition from one to the other. There's also a change machine here, which is really handy because you do have to use change for these machines. There's also an ironing board, all the things you would need to finish your laundry in sort of one location. And it is $1 to wash, and it is $1 to dry. And as I said, it does take quarters. So you're gonna need to either collect those quarters in advance or bring dollar bills, and you can get change right there. So now we're going to go inside to the shower room. So this is the women's, obviously. We have 3 sinks here with plenty of light, plug-ins to do your hair, as well as mirrors. We have 4 toilets, 3 of which are just standard toilets, and then the 4th is handicap accessible, which is really handy. And then we also have shower areas here. There's 3 showers. These are kept very clean. They're very nice. You won't have a problem being comfortable using these. So as I showed you earlier, just through the trees is going to be the Gulf. So we're just going to take a quick little walk here down along the path. Now I'm walking behind the laundry room and the shower houses. And there's just this really nice little path, and it starts out just kind of a gravel path, but pretty quickly here, it's going to turn into a sand path. And when we make the corner, you're going to start to see what I refer to as maybe the biggest amazing amenity of this particular campground. And that is the fact that it is located right on the Gulf, and it is a stunning view, just a short walk from your RV. In fact, from my bedroom window, I can see the Gulf, and that is pretty exciting. So you can see here now that the path is turning into sand. You'll start to see some shells along the way. So if you like to collect shells, like I do on occasion, then you might want to stop and pick some up. And then you can start to see the ocean. And yes, that glare out there, that is the sun shining on the Gulf. So we're just going to take this walk. I know it's going to take a couple of seconds for us to do it, but to me, it's worth it because it gives you a real sense of one of the things that I love the most about this place. And I'll tell you, it's cool today. You know, it's about 50 degrees in Florida, which is cold in comparison to what it normally is. But I'll tell you, it's a little windier in the campground, oddly enough, than it is out here on the beach. We went out here earlier and the sun is shining down and it's beautiful. And this, my friends, this short walk from your RV to this site is what makes this campground probably my favorite military campground. It might be my favorite campground, period, that we have been to thus far. And you all know that I work from home, so does my husband. So sometimes during the day, when I'm just needing a little extra rejuvenation, I get my lawn chair, throw it over my shoulder, my computer, I get my hotspot, I walk out here, I park my chair right at the top of this hill right here, and I just sit here and do my work. And I'm telling you, nothing is more amazing than that. As I mentioned, I think one of the greatest benefits of this particular campground is that you are right on the Gulf. And I mean, literally you walk out of the campground, like I showed you, right out here to the beach. So this is looking back towards the campground. So the campground would be back behind me there. And then I'm just gonna spin around here and you can see the Gulf behind me. And it's a little windy and chilly this morning. It's in the 50s, which for Floridians is downright cold. But for us, it's not too bad, right? And over my shoulder there, or over my head right there, you can see the lighthouse. And we're going to take you down there and let you take a look at that as well. Now, I have to tell you that because we are on Naval Air Station Pensacola, this is all a private beach. Nobody can use this beach except people who are on the military base. No one else has access to it. And this beach is about 3 miles long. So if you want to take a leisurely walk on the beach in the morning or the evening or any time of the day, you can certainly do that here. We're going to walk down a little ways in just a few minutes, and we'll show you some of the great things that it offers down there. But we're currently at low tide, so the water is way down. But I'll show you as I get up here. You can see the difference in the sand right here. At high tide, the sand will be clear up here. But there you go, folks. If for no other reason, this should lure you to NAS Pensacola at Oak Grove Campground. While you're out here, you can see all kinds of amazing things. So I don't know if you can see it very well from where I am, but out here on this platform out in the water, there are just dozens of birds right there on that platform landing. If you look right there in the middle, pretty cool. Now, as I showed you from further away earlier, there is a beautiful lighthouse right on this beach, and this is Pensacola Lighthouse. You can actually go up in this. There are stairs that go all the way to the top, which will give you a gorgeous view of this area. And according to the information we read, it is the tallest lighthouse on the Gulf. And it is accessible right here on NAS Pensacola and just a short walk down the beach to get to this. Or there's also a walking path that you can go, and we'll show you that in just a few seconds. And here's the path that you can take from the beach. As you'll notice, it looks a lot like the path from the campground out to the beach. But this particular path is going to take you right up to the lighthouse, which you can see just ahead of us. So here we are at the top. We've made it up from the beach, and here's just a little closer look of the lighthouse. We do plan to go in and take that walk all the way to the top, but not sure it's going to be today. We'll just have to see. And then I'm going to spin around here, and I'm going to show you from the top up here the gorgeous view that you have out to the Gulf. Really is a stunning place. Now, I mentioned earlier that you can certainly walk along the beach, and like I said, there's probably 3 miles at least of private beach right here on NAS Pensacola that you can walk, and it's just beautiful. But there's also this really amazing path. Now, this looks like a road, but there is very little, if any, traffic on this. The only time I've ever seen any traffic on it was government vehicles who are out here kind of maintaining the area. But for the most part, this is just a walking, biking, or running path. And this path goes for miles on this base, which is so nice. You can go all the way to the West Gate on a path like this. You can all the way back into the main base. So we've used this a lot for just walking, running, and just getting from point A to point B. So like I said, you can get to that lighthouse from the beach access, but you can also get to it by this pathway. And this pathway is going to take us right up the road here to the campground. So here's a quick look at the other side of the campground that I mentioned earlier, right? And I said that it was a little more linear. So you can see here, you know, where it's just the streets are straighter. You just have the back end sites here. We still have trees in this area, but not quite as heavy of tree cover as we have on the other side. There is areas over here where you can do tent camping, obviously none at this time of year. But there are a lot of sites available. You can see that here. So there you have it, folks. That is Oak Grove Grove campground at NAS Pensacola, and I really hope that y'all will check it out. It truly is sort of my happy place, and I think Phil would agree with me that it is our favorite campground we've been to. Just the community, the camaraderie, the area, the beach, all of that, right? And honestly, if you Google, what to do when in Pensacola, one of the top 3 things, or actually the top 3 things that they're going to tell you are things that are right here on this base. One of them is the Lighthouse, which we looked at. One of them is the National Naval Aviation Museum. And the third one is Fort Barrancas, which is an old fort right here on the base. So there's a lot of things to see and do in this area, but there's a lot of things to see and do right here on this beach, which are within walking distance. So I encourage you to check it out. You won't be disappointed, and tell them Phil and Mary sent you. As always, we're Hendrick Home on the Highway, and we'll see you down the road.